Welcome to episode 6. Today we're stepping away from the big names of kings and explorers to look at the people who actually built the foundations of this land: the mothers, the farmers, the apprentices, and the families. To the young people watching, have you ever felt like your chores are too much, or if you've ever been frustrated that the internet is slow, today's story is for you. Life in the 1700s was a constant sun-up to sundown struggle for the basics. But within that struggle, people found deep joy, a sense of community, and a spirit of resilience that still flows through our veins today. We aren't just a nation of ideas, we are a nation of hard-working neighbors. Rhythm of labor. In the 1700s, almost 90% of colonists lived on farms. There were no grocery stores. If you wanted to eat, you had to plant, protect, and harvest it. Women's work was the backbone of survival. A colonial woman didn't just cook, she was a chemist, a weaver, a nurse, and a gardener. She turned raw wool into clothing and tallow into candles. Children were essential, too. Even at age 5 or 6, you would be gathering kindling or churning butter. It was a quote-unquote worse time in terms of physical exhaustion, but it created a culture where every person, no matter how young, knew they were needed. You were never extra, you were vital. New England meetinghouse. In the North, life revolved around the meetinghouse. This wasn't just a church, it was a town hall and the community center. Because the Puritans believed everyone should be able to read the Bible, they passed the Old Deluded Satan Act in 1647, requiring towns to provide schooling. This was the tiny flickering candle that would eventually grow into our American public education system. They believed that an educated citizen was a free citizen. Even when their rules were strict, their commitment to literacy and community debates set the stage for what democratic town halls we still use today. They showed us that when we learn together, we grow together. The Great Awakening, 1730s to 1740s. In the mid-1700s, a massive spiritual movement called the Great Awakening swept through the colonies. Preachers like George Whitefield spoke to crowds in thousands of open fields. What made this hopeful was that it was the first truly national event. It didn't matter if you were a wealthy merchant in Boston or a poor farmer in Georgia, everyone was hearing the same message. It taught people that they had a direct connection to the divine, regardless of what a king or a distant bishop said. This was a spiritual democracy that started to make people think, if I could choose my own faith, why can't I have a say in my own government? It was the beginning of an American identity that transcended local borders. The apprentice system. In colonial cities like Philadelphia or Charleston, the apprentice system was how young people built their futures. If you wanted to be a printer like Benjamin Franklin or a silversmith like Paul Revere, you lived and worked with a master for 7 years. It was a rigorous, often difficult path, but it emphasized craftsmanship and merit. You weren't defined by who your father was. You were defined by how well you could build a cabinet or set type for a newspaper. This helped create the American dream before it even had a name. The idea that through skill and hard work, you could rise above your circumstances. As we finish today, take a deep breath and look at the comforts around you. We have inherited the grit of these ancestors without having to endure their hardships. To the young people, you are the fulfillment of their hard work. When they sat by candlelight sewing clothes, they were dreaming of a future where their children would be safe and prosperous. You are living in their dream. Next Saturday, we see what happens when these hard-working, independent-minded colonies start to get pushed by the British crown. Until then, stay grateful, stay industrious, and remember the strength you carry in your history.